I want to talk about finance for a moment, just because it's come up in recent days. Uh, the economy is changing, and I think we need to keep that in mind when we're looking to start a business or engage in a new service or a project. One of the things I'm going to say right up front, do not always count on the banks. I've had a couple of friends who have relied heavily on, in quotes, promises from the bank. They've been gravely and seriously disappointed. Um, you need to look at it, and it doesn't matter how good your credit rating is. Banks look at credit ratings and say that's very cool, but when push comes to shove, the end result is your credit rating is attached to everything else that you do, and they may or may not agree to tie it to what you're doing in terms of business. They also may not give you what you think you deserve, and you need to take that into account when you put together your business plan. I would tell you that I am the guy who starts on a shoestring. I like that because then I don't have debt, and then I can control where I go. Not everybody has my personality. Um, but don't look at everything just because it's cheap or not. Look at where you need to be. Look at the 4 quadrants that I've taught on other videos. If you've not gone over 4 quadrants for your business that you're planning or the project that you're getting ready to do, I encourage you to look at it. Finance is the one thing that will sink you. You need to produce a product or service that makes you enough money to take care of what you need to take care of in terms of the business and make provision in your life. In the beginning, if you have enough money behind you, you can push that aside. But until you get that money either from the beginning or built up, you can't do what you want to do. And the reality of it is, unless you have a tremendously incredible idea or business plan, others will not see it the way you see it. So do not expect a bank or a lender to look at you the same way you look at your project. They do not understand your project. Years ago, I started a company, and I didn't look at I didn't look at the finance the same way. I went to a bank. I went with my business plan and everything, and they said, you know, these are projections. You can't say this is the way it would go. And I didn't have a track record in this business, but what I did have was a knowledge in me that I could do this. So I went out and I did everything, and I through self-financing. What I mean by that is I sold until I ran out of product, and I took that money and I went back and I bought more product, and then I added to that, and I built up my inventory, and I built up what I needed, and then I added the things to the space that I needed to do things in. That's the way that many people begin, and while it may be more difficult in the beginning, it certainly makes provision for you somewhere down the road that you can look back and say it is possible to do that. Many years ago, I started a retail business. According to the industry, it would take $45,000 to start that industry, start that project. I looked at that and said, well, I don't have $45,000, but what I do have is a desire to do this. And so what I did was I began to buy and sell immediately. Buy and sell immediately, turning things over constantly, because one of the things you'll find out that when myself and others get together, cash flow is king. If you have cash flow, you can win the game. If you don't have cash flow, it's very difficult to be successful. And what I did was I built that product up in that store space, in that retail space. And at the end of time, what I was able to do was I was able to sell that product and the space as the business to someone else, and I had no debt related to that. So it's possible to do that, but what you need to have a plan. You need to look at, where is my money coming from? Again, in this economy more than ever before, do not rely on the bank. If you are not in business, it is very difficult to make the financial moves you need to do. So what you need to look at is, how can I streamline this thing? How can I shape it down and bring it down to a place where I can move ahead with it? So when you begin to look at your business, look at the financial characteristics and the needs that you will have to get this through. You may have to look at it, be very serious about it, say this is not the time nor the season. But if it is the time of the season, then you need to push ahead, because what you know about the business you're getting into, hopefully, will bring you to that place where you'll be able to move in what it needs to do, and will make provision not only for the business, but it will provide for you and your family. Thanks, and God bless.